Welcome back to the Foundations to Framework webinar series, Supercharging Your QMS with AI. Today's webinar will showcase AI solutions for life science regulatory and quality management. So let's do kind of a quick review of what we covered in last week's webinars. On Thursday, Ashik Raman laid the groundwork for us, and he talked about what AI is, how it works, and different uses in everyday life. On Friday, we had a wonderful panel of quality and regulatory experts that focused in on applying AI in quality management. If you remember, Jennifer Mascioli, tutor, talked about the quality and regulatory benefits that she perceives are possible with AI. And Greg Mattson explained AI governance requirements and guidelines and discussed the possibility of AI governance light. Garth Conrad provided some excellent examples of use cases that he's already applying in his quality management system that use both predictive and generative AI. So today, we're going to delve deeper into AI use cases and demo two solutions that are already available that apply AI to QMS and regulatory affairs. So the links to the recordings and materials from today's session and all of the other sessions will be sent out to everyone at the end of this series. And remember, if you have any questions, please add them to the Q&A as we go. We'll have time for a live Q&A at the end. So with that, let's meet our presenters today. Kevin Simpson is the co-founder and COO of Lexim AI, which is bringing the power of cloud-based AI to life sciences regulatory affairs. Kevin spent 20 years at Model N, the leading revenue and regulatory management system for medical device, biotech, pharma, and high-tech companies. At Model N, Kevin played leading roles in operations, services, support, and enablement, and he worked with companies like Boston Scientific, Abbott, Medtronic, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and dozens of others. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
And
Good to be here.
thanks for coming. And you've already met Justin before, but let me tell you a little bit more about Justin. Justin Dierking is the co-founder of myQMS.ai, bringing over 25 years of engineering, operations, and quality system leadership expertise to his role. As a leader at Boston Scientific and Medtronic, he focused on leading teams of all sizes to solve tough engineering and organizational challenges. He has always strived to bring new technologies and innovations to life that deliver tangible business results. And with the rise of AI, he recognized the opportunity to use this new capability to revolutionize quality management system compliance and efficiency. Welcome, Justin. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Lynn. Welcome to everybody who's on the call.
All right, so we're going to start off with Lexim AI today. Kevin, can you share the story or motivation that led to the creation of Lexim AI?
Sure. My founder and co-founder, Pat Bott, and I worked together at Model N for a number of years. And Model N primarily started out as a solution for pricing, contracts, settlements, and other kind of transactional issues related to revenue management. But along the way, we found a problem that our pharma friends were having related to reporting government prices. And that's when we began dipping our toe into regulatory. And one of the things, so we built a solution for government pricing, and following on to that, there was also Medicaid rebates and some other kind of federal and state regulatory processing capabilities. And one thing that we observed was that the struggle to keep up with regulation, to understand existing regulation, whether it was these innovative companies bringing a new product into the market or keeping an existing product, safe, legal, and compliant, was always a big deal. And so we would watch as something would come along like the Inflation Reduction Act or Affordable Care Act, and the impact that regulations, big regulations like that, but even small adjustments to regulations would have on our customers was profound. So after both of us left Model N, within the the past couple of years, Pat really started thinking about that regulatory burden, that problem that we saw our customers struggle with. And he knew that there had to be ways that AI, large language models, machine learning could be applied to that. He has a long career history with it and expertise with it. And so we started tinkering with ways that we could apply what AI does well to a very specific, very burdensome problem, which is dissecting these regulations, either, as I said, to bring a new product in or to keep a product safe, and actually speeding up that process and spending more time focusing on achieving what you need to achieve as a business rather than slogging through these regulations. So that was the kind of genesis of what we tried to do. And I think when we show it to you, you'll see kind of how we went after that problem.
That's great. So what factors do you guys consider when selecting AI use cases?
So for us, we were very deliberate about making sure, first of all, that AI was used in context, that AI would be part of a coherent solution from end to end for a specific problem. So for us, it was the journey of understanding existing regulations or understanding new regulations, regulatory change, keeping up with that, accelerating your ability to adapt or respond to those changes, but also fit that into all the other things that go along with that, researching predicates, for example, or understanding what's going on with adverse events in a certain area. So regulatory affairs, regulatory intelligence, working hand in hand, we wanted to make sure that we addressed that in context. So we made sure that we weren't just popping up a chat or a bot or an agent, but building a solution that encompassed that and it's really packaged within that. And so that's where we started, and that's been our guiding principle.
That sounds so cool. Can we see the demo?
Sure. Let me just switch over here to my system, and I'll share. There we go. I think you can all see my screen.
Got it.
Great. So this is a cloud-based tool, and we really started out looking at sort of three things, really. Number one was we wanted to make sure that we solved the problem of chasing down regulatory information, whether it's data like adverse events or 510(k) clearances, what have you, but also documents that are published. So FDA preamble, CFR Title 21, proposed rules, final rules. So we made sure that we built a system where we solved the first problem, which is how do you find all this information and how do you go after it? So we created a cloud solution that brings all the data to the customers. So we integrated with CMS, we integrated with FDA, and every day our system goes out, brings everything that's published into the system, and where useful, we also apply some AI to it, which I'll show you in just a second. So in our system, we've got kind of a regulatory section over here, which is for documents. We also bring all of the device intelligence, the key things that you would want to be tracking here. So this is more kind of data information, not really long documents, but data points, recalls, notices, MDR material, pre-market approvals, and what have you. And then as you'll see, we also started working with foreign regulators because we know that this is, or overseas regulators, because we know that this is also a particular burden on people. Finally, we wanted to make sure that all of the AI that we built that's trained specifically on regulatory affairs would be available to our customers to use in ways not necessarily built into the product, but to problems that they bring into our solution themselves. So let's start with the first piece here. So we built a dashboard with some key document types of information. It's all loaded in. You can filter it by date. And we allow you to go out and see those documents. So a really hot topic is laboratory developed tests. So that proposed rule was published back in October. we brought it into the system, and you'll see what we did with it. First of all, we bring the PDF of the document here so our customers can quickly access it and review it. But this is where we started using our proprietary AI, and we developed a set of AI tools and technologies bundled together that is trained on regulatory material. It's not just trained on the entirety of the internet or specific subsets of data from the broader internet. It's trained on regulatory documents and materials. So we offer, as soon as we bring these documents in, we immediately generate, first of all, a summary of that document. So this is an AI-based summary of this proposed rule from FDA. And the page count of the original rule was 26. We've got something like a 2 to 3 page summary of the document. This would take someone hours and hours to do, to read through, comb through that document, and then prepare a structured summary that could be used more broadly in the organization to kind of marshal your response to this potential change to the regulation. But that's not where we stopped. We also developed a structured kind of impact statement, business, functional, and other impacts that you see here, regulatory, economic, that are derived from the document. We also generate an AI-based set of action items that are organized by teams derived from the content of the original document. And here's one that a lot of our customers have responded very strongly to. We prepare an FAQ. So really the synthesis of what's in this document, what does it mean, and what does it propose to do? And this is something that our customers are taking for guidance documents, proposed rules, final rules, and sharing internally to start bringing the entire organization up to speed on the impact of this particular document. So there's 4 direct AI-based, and it's based on AI that's trained on regulatory materials. We also do, for example, in this case, you've got public comments. We do some sentiment indexing and sourcing of the comments. But then we also turn the power of our AI loose so you can use it for your own purposes. So for example, this is a 26-page, even our summary is kind of a big, fairly dense document. If you want something a little more compact, you could come here and say, whoops. So maybe you want really the true Reader's Digest version. And this is using our AI, but in a question that you're posing to this document. So here is a 4-paragraph summary that our AI generated just for you. And you could ask anything, super specific or very general, and you're using our AI to probe this document. Finally, we also knew that for our customers, having the ability to kind of comment, share, discuss was important. So we included some basic discussion and communication and collaboration tools into the solution. Now we do the same thing for all of the kind of major published document types of materials. We have this for final rules, we have it for guidance documents, and we produce the exact same kinds of products for all of those. This is also all tailorable, if that's a word, for what's interesting to you, the programs that you're interested in, the specialties that you're interested in. You can set all that in your preferences that are associated with your profile. The other thing I want to say is that we built this as a secure cloud solution. So you can have multiple people that are using the solution and logging into it, and it's organized by your organization. No one can see what queries you do against these documents. No one can see what comments you're making. Just like any kind of standard modern secure cloud-based solution, we segment the data so that your activities remain private to your organization, but open as to what your colleagues are doing into the system. So users will have an administrator from their organization that sets up the accounts and so forth for that organization. So that's what we did on a documentary front. So within our solution, this is where we really applied AI pretty extensively, bringing those documents in, analyzing them, and producing products that you can immediately use to kind of marshal your response or guide what your company is going to do, or inform further the rest of your organization, whether it's manufacturing or marketing or quality or the executive team or what have you. So all of that's available today. Now, we're also adding foreign regulators, and we're just beginning this process. We have some documents already loaded, for example, from China. We have documents from EU that we're bringing in. Those regulatory regimes are not as advanced as the US regulators are in publishing things consistently on the web and making them broadly available. But where it's available, we're grabbing them and bringing them in. And then we are looking for solutions to bring in even more material through other means. So US and foreign regulatory materials are published and we bring it in. The other thing we do is, as I said, we provide device intelligence. So 510K clearances, you can filter, sort, search. You can search anything in the MOD database, which is quite vast. It's all being brought into the solution. You don't have to go out to 15 or 20 other websites to cover all this material and use different UIs. You use one single UI, one single source of truth. So it's all automated and it's available there for you. The last thing we wanted to do, and you saw a taste of it when you were able to do your custom queries against these documents, is we wanted our customers to be able to do basic research using our AI, and this will go out and search multiple domains. So for example, you can pick various domains in the US regulatory world and include everything there, and then do basic broad research questions against all of that. The other thing we wanted you to be able to do was bring your own materials in and use our AI tools against your documents. So you can load any type of document. For example, some of our early customers started loading documents from Australia in here, and we were able to produce the same kind of summaries, action item lists, FAQs against those documents, just like we did for the US materials. So this is an example of that. Here's the PDF of the document. Here's the summary document for that. Again, an impact statement, FAQs, and all of that. So really 3 problems that we try to solve. Number 1, make it much less difficult to go out and get all of the impactful regulatory material, whether it's documents or data. Number 2, apply AI intelligently within a context of your overall processes and using very specifically trained AI against these materials. And number 3, make that AI capability available to you to use with your own materials or to use more broadly out in publicly published domains like I showed you. So that's really what we've built for the first time out. We've initially targeted med device companies. Next, we'll focus on pharma companies and provide kind of a front end that's a little bit more tailored to their use cases. And then we'll be looking beyond that into other highly regulated industries. So that's our solution.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Kevin. One of the things that I saw
My
too,
pleasure.
like as you were talking through like the FAQ and the Q&A, it seems like some of that opportunity too for another use case related to training. You know, like you can take some of that information and pull that in for training opportunities as well. So really great opportunities, and bringing all of that information together into one place, that has to be saving a ton of time.
Yeah, for us, we felt like knowing like how precious these resources are, people that understand this regulatory world. I mean, I remember at Model N, the experts on the regulatory materials were like diamonds. You know, if you could get 20 minutes with Jesse Mendelson to talk about a particular rule when you were trying to design a product that would help with that, it was gold. And you just don't find those people. And so for a lot of our customers, like you said, freeing them up to do the highest level work they can do is really, really important. And searching websites is not that. It's using the intelligence to understand how the company is going to respond to this regulatory material. And then, like you said, turnover, training, you lose somebody, you can take a step back that could cost months to retrain people on your own materials, let alone, how you've been handling certain rules and things. So those all went into what we were thinking about this burden that we wanted to help people overcome.
Great. So we do have a few questions, and I think I'm going to just go into them because
Sure.
specifically for Lexim.
Mm-hmm.
So first question is everything AI driven, or is there a human reviewing the guidance document information? Because as you know, that regulations are not black and white, and it is more nuanced than one thinks.
Right. Yeah, interpretation is a really important factor here. So yes, we have human in the loop. So we have advisors, we have folks that we've hired who are specialists who are reviewing the guidance documents. And we're also kind of engaging our customers to help us with this as well. So our early pilot customers, we asked them, how close are these summaries of the guidance documents? And we got pretty strong feedback that we were hitting the nail on the head. And it took time. This is probably what we spent the most amount of time on, was making sure that we got the essence of this right. But we also understand that the implications for a specific organization will be different from organization to organization, from company to company. So we wanted to make sure that we were kind of balanced about that, and that we were thorough. So the problems that we're solving are for, accuracy and completeness of understanding of what's in the material, accuracy in summarizing it. And we think we've done really well with that, but it's going to always be an ongoing process. So making sure that we're close to our customers. We have already included things like being able to flag something if you think that the interpretation is off, being able to give a thumbs up if you think it's on, and then we'll probably increase those engagements, and even public commenting could come down the road. So that's really, really kind of the crown jewels of this, is the accuracy of those documents. And we've gone to great lengths to make sure people are in the loop.
Okay. So highly regulated industry that we're in, this question will come up every time with a solution. Is the system validated?
It's not currently validated in the sense that you would use, no, not in the sense of complying with a specific legal. That's something we're looking at in the future, but we're offering it as a tool and to help people speed themselves along. Always the burden is on the organization to make sure that it feels comfortable with this. This reminds me of something we went through when we released our government price reporting product back in, I think, 2005 at Model N, 19 years ago. For the first couple of years, most of our big customers would continue calculating those workbooks themselves and then compare them with what Model N was doing. And we expect that kind of a process will happen. And what comes out of that both is good, positive reinforcement feedback of, here's what you need to do to get this right. And then trust in the system will be built through that. But it's always going to be your responsibility to make sure that you understand what the rule says. What we're trying to do is speed it along for you.
Okay, another question. How often is the data refreshed? I see the days listed on the dashboard, but what happens if FDA replaces one version with a newer version? Does the user have access to both versions, as one expects to see the previous and new version of the guidances when doing a gap impact assessment?
Yes, we're not replacing anything. So everything that we acquire is cumulative. So, and we do that every day. So not only for the published documents, but for all the data points that I showed you down here, and for things like comments on proposed rules. We go scrape every day, publish them. The AI materials are generally generated within, 30 minutes to an hour and then become available within the UI.
And one more question, Kevin. I actually have two, but they're very related. So, what LLM models does Lexim AI use, and how do you avoid hallucination and prompt injection risks?
So this is something that Pat and the technical team focus very heavily on. We're using kind of what I would call a constellation of LLMs in our solution. We're doing specific training and hinting on published regulatory material that's specific to these industries. And we have probably 5 to 7 different products that we're using in the solution collectively.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. We really
My
appreciate you
pleasure.
walking us through Lexim AI. And we're going to switch over now to Justin
Great.
with myQMS.ai. Hey, Justin, can you share a little bit for everyone? What was the inspiration behind myQMS.ai?
Sure. I guess my personal motivation, obviously Lynn and I built this solutions platform together, but personally for me, it was really a product of my experience, both as an engineer using a quality system every day, as well as a leader of both small and large teams over my career. I'm sure everyone has experienced this, but a really common pain point for employees across organizations, the quality system is too complex, and it's too difficult to use. And I would constantly hear the phrase, and I'm sure I said it back in the day multiple times, is, I went to school to be an engineer, not to fill out this paperwork. And so a complicated quality system is really a source of frustration and burnout, and in some cases, loss of employees for folks who just want to do engineering work. And then consequently, as a leader, I saw how many resources and how much money we were spending on our quality systems. We would spend millions and millions of dollars, and yet we still had quality issues. And sometimes for seemingly simple issues that probably didn't need to occur. So kind of those two, I guess, series of experiences over the years, led us to the solutions we've developed today. And, most companies have deployed a variety of IT and organizational solutions to address those pain points I talked about, like PLM systems and EQMSs, hiring specialists, doing better training, so on and so forth. But in my opinion, most of those have kind of run their course, and the incremental benefits that justify additional investments in those solutions they're just really hard to justify at this point. So our vision is that the next step in the digital transformation process is the implementation of AI to help employees break through those barriers. And really the whole point of all this is to how to apply AI and quality systems to really help unleash all that pent-up potential in organizations to solve problems faster and to release innovations faster, which is what our customers and our patients, that's what they really want.
So, can you share with the audience how we went about deciding on which use cases to address with AI?
Sure. Let me share my screen here, and I will walk you through that. So, we envision our use cases based on a couple different factors, and it's really a combination of our own personal experiences, leading large organizations, and analyzing them for opportunities to improve quality and efficiency, as well as researching academic studies to understand how knowledge workers really spend their time and where opportunities are. So that combination of analysis and experience really informed our vision of where people struggle using QMS and where they spend the most time, both of which are opportunities where AI can help solve real business problems. And really the focus is where can we focus on return on investment for both employees and organizations in ways that other technologies fall short today. And really, at the end of the day, AI is a tool, like we've talked about in previous sections. You should only be using AI for problems that other technologies can't solve for. So that's really been our focus, is how to use AI to really level up employees and take things to the next level. So what you see in front of us is our cloud-based solution. So very similar to Lexim, we have a secure cloud-based solutions platform, and it can do a number of different use cases that are really intended to augment any employee in an organization and augment their work within the quality system. So as an initial starting point use case, knowledge workers, the data shows, spend sometimes up to 20% of their time just looking for information, or in some cases, helping others to look for information. So in a QMS setting, that could be looking for a procedure or the right form, looking for some data, or looking for guidance about how to go do a process. So AI has the ability to easily guide someone to the right data and the right information much faster than calling a friend, calling a manager, those kind of things that might happen today. So as an example, I'm a brand new engineer, and my supervisor just told me I need to initiate a CAPA request for a new quality issue. What do I do? So you can see with our solution, very quickly, it'll inform you about kind of the key points of completing a CAPA request, kind of summarize steps. It'll give you the steps to how to submit it, who reviews it, and so on and so forth. And then it gives you a reference directly to the procedure so that you can easily start moving through the process. So in today's world, this might have taken this new engineer 15 minutes, maybe even longer, depending on how experienced they are, if they have to call somebody. And instead of wasting time, now they're actually moving through the CAPA process instead of wasting their time and other people's time looking for it. And this can be done for literally any other part of the quality system: design controls, supplier controls, training, whatever you want. Here's an example from design controls. How do you connect design inputs to design outputs? And again, it'll give you an overview of kind of the general process, and then it'll give you details directly to those procedures and those forms you need to fill out. So solutions like this, in our vision, not only make the organization more efficient, they also help accelerate cycle times for solving problems. And case studies have shown in the industry over the last 2 years that when employees use AI for challenges like this, they're more satisfied with their work because they're spending more time solving problems and doing the work they were hired for, which is what they enjoy, versus looking for information and getting frustrated with the system. Now, the key to the compliance and quality, which some people have asked about, and I'm sure folks are wondering, is how do you understand where all this information is grounded? So right now, we always recommend that humans be in the driver's seat making decisions, and that AI is helping augment that decision making, but it's not making the decision itself on its own. So AI is super smart. It's been trained on tons of publicly available information, but one thing it's not trained on is your data and your procedures. So for our solution, we've created a solution that forces the AI to always give a reference so that you understand where the information is coming from, and you can go delve into it and double check. So that gives you easy access, but also confidence that you're getting the right information. So another use case that we have focused on beyond just finding information is creating quality records. And that's an area where AI can really excel. So as a follow-on to our last example, I'm that new engineer. I got a CAPA request. I've never done it before. I don't really know what a good one looks like. So again, typically you might phone a friend, you might go look at old CAPAs to find a reference and try to copy and paste that. But there's no guarantee that that's going to give you the right information when you need it. So with AI, you can just give a basic starting point. So I basically just said, hey, here's my general, problem statement. Can you help me fill it out? It'll give you an expanded recommendation with some placeholders, tell you some additional details to fill out. And then again, it gives you reference to the CAPA procedure so you know where that information is grounded. And then, following that along, I'm the engineer. I say, okay, that's good recommendations. I'm going to, here's my next revision. What do you think of this? And again, it'll give you some follow-on critiques and guidance and suggestions for where to go next. So, probably another 1 or 2 more times, and I've got probably a pretty good issue description that I can go forward with. And this is done in a fraction of the time that would normally take. Even an experienced engineer sometimes can benefit from this, but a junior employee, much more. The beauty of what I just showed you is that you can train it based on your own procedural requirements and also provide golden examples in the background that you want the AI to mimic. That allows employees to create records much faster, more robustly, less frustration, make them more consistently compliant, and require a lot less assistance from other team members. So it's a win on multiple dimensions when you use something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And following through on the kind of the junior employee concept, a lot of studies have been done already on AI and showing its benefits, and they're all showing that junior employees benefit the most from using AI. And it's a really powerful way to level up those employees really quickly. So that's a really interesting motivation that we've also come to realize is, we spend a lot of time and money training folks. And now we can use AI to augment that training to really get on-the-job training done quicker and ideally with better results. So the last use case I'll talk about is process automation. So by combining the power of AI and more traditional process automation tools that you might already have access to in your PLM system or your EQMS system, you can create tailored tools that dramatically enhance your quality system processes. So as an example, with just a few clicks, I can audit a nonconformance, a CAPA, a complaint, and even your own quality system procedures themselves, speeding up the time to conduct those reviews and augment your reviews than you would normally do by hand. So one example I'll just show you, in this case, I'm going to conduct a CAPA audit, and I've dragged and dropped a main CAPA file that you might have, out of your EQMS system, and then two attachments that you would commonly have for these situations. So I've got an investigation report, and I have a communication that was done, and I want the AI to evaluate all of those to make sure that they're all compliant and meeting expectations. Now, this might take a matter of minutes to complete, so I've already done one this morning that I can show you here right away. So the AI will assess compliance based on regulatory standards as well as your own internal requirements. So it starts off with a high-level overview of compliance, good feedback, some opportunities for review, some overall feedback. And then, if you're conducting an audit or an assessment of this, you would go through each of the individual sections to learn more. So it'll start with an executive summary. Again, issue description, root causes, corrective actions, just to give you a lay of the land, and then provides references to where that information was discovered. And then you can go through each of the individual sections and phases to learn more about where and why things may not have met your expectations. So we'll start with containment. In both of these cases, the AI assessed that those were acceptable. And again, it gives you a quick overview of why it's acceptable, and then gives you grounding in exactly the document where that was discovered, along with a section for more details. Going further through the CAPA process, one key area is root causes. Did we really get to the right root cause? And this is an area where we found some really interesting use cases for having AI augment that evaluation process. So in this case, we have 3 different root causes, and I'll just start with one at the top. We talk about laser welder power settings kind of going out of calibration, and that was a root cause. But using the power of AI and some of our own training, we've been able to elicit additional ideas for where you can take this deeper. And this is an area where teams often struggle to understand how far to go and what other questions they should be asking to make sure they truly get to root cause versus just finding out symptoms. Again, this is all grounded, in this case, in that investigation report that I showed you earlier. So you know exactly where the information is referenced. And lastly, I'll just show you our effectiveness check plan. So again, another area where teams struggle. Is this a smart plan? Does it use statistically relevant criteria? Again, this is a great area where AI can excel by evaluating your information, comparing it against criteria that is both from regulations as well as your both internal requirements. So what I've just shown you is just a little taste of what can be done. And, as we look at this particular automation, this can be applied across the quality system in a variety of different manners. And so it's, big picture, when we are excited about for audits in particular is our goal is always to be audit ready all the time. And tools like this could be used to run constantly across every quality record, across an entire organization that flags concerns real time versus waiting for an internal audit or even a regulator to find it. So the potential and possibilities for using this AI technology to really enhance and augment your employees' work is really only bounded by your imagination. So this is just a little sample of what's possible. And I hope this gave you hopefully some inspiration to think about and imagine where you can apply it in your QMS as well.
Thanks, Justin. A couple questions that came in. Is this a system that could plug into their existing QMS?
That is theoretically possible. So everything I showed from the chatbot as well as Audit Tool is based on a mini quality system that we have created for demonstration purposes. But that same concept could be done for your specific quality system procedures. And depending on, the cleanliness of your data and do you have a data warehouse that can be easily accessed, this could be partnered up with your existing QMS. That's kind of the genesis of the name myQMS.ai, because hopefully sitting in your shoes, this is myQMS with AI attached to it.
Thanks. And then how do you train the LLM that's handling of any new versions of client documentation to avoid errors or outdated recommendations? Like, so if the client updates their SOP or templates, how does that happen in this tool?
Yeah, great question. So again, if you have a data warehouse or a portal of some kind that always has your most current versions, that can constantly be checked and then pulled in and then indexed to make sure that it's using that new information. If that's not available, then there has to be some sort of manual interchange of information, like an administrator, for example, at your company that keeps an eye on that and automatically pulls those over real time.
Great. Thank you very much, Justin, and thank you, Kevin. I'm going to just go back here and share a little bit one more time. If you are interested in full demos, because we just saw snippets of Lexim AI and myQMS.ai today. So if you're interested in getting full demos, please go to their websites, Lexim AI and myQMS.ai. Very easy URLs that both of the companies have. And if you go to their home pages, you'll see a schedule a demo link that you can go ahead and click on and get that scheduled quickly for yourselves. So we are running out of time, but I just want to mention that we have one more webinar in this series, and it's not tomorrow because here in the US, tomorrow is election day. So we felt like it was not the appropriate day to be trying to get everyone to come do the webinar, go vote instead. But please come back on Thursday, November 7th, and we are getting ready to leap. We are getting to the framework. So if you want to learn the framework for how to discover appropriate use cases in your QMS for applying AI, please come back on Thursday because we are happy to show you how to do that. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you again, Justin and Kevin, and everyone.
Thanks,
Have
everyone.
a great rest of your week.
Thank you.